Captain Arlgurm was smiling as he finally saw a prey worth taking, a Terran space truck. They were notorious for being filled with enormous amounts of precious cargo. This truck was looking even better, because the last Galactic year he was having a horrible time raiding ships. Either what he got was worth barely anything, or the transports were too well protected. So he mostly went after civilian vessels from other species. He sold said civilians to a shadow company from his kind's government, the Hijacked Coalition. There they would be bred to become livestock. The Galactic Council has been trying to put a stop to it, but had trouble since the Coalition was bigger and stronger than any other species out there. They would need to attack them with a 10-to-1 in their favor to even make a chance. But we breed way faster than any other species, even with our big size. Meaning, there was nothing they could do for the coming centuries. But that was not something Arlgurm cared about at the moment. He had a spaceship to steal its cargo from, and by the look of it, it would be a jackpot. A single spaceship, hauling so many containers that it was nearly 10 kilometers long. His mouth salivating at the thought that he probably could buy a planet if it was completely filled, or if it was just barely filled, he could buy a dozen ships or so. Attention, trucker. This is Captain Arlgurm, the Vile of the pirate ship the Bonignashes. Unhook your cargo and then get out of here. If you are lucky, I might only turn you into a moving target for my ship's weapons systems," he said as a deep, low rumbling came from his throat, meaning to intimidate others from getting funny ideas. Normally, any other ship would unhook and race off hoping to escape said weapon systems, but this ship opened a comm channel with his ship. Arlgurm looked confused as his screen turned on its own. The Terran was a very thin and lanky man. He had a very white and frazzled beard, and barely hidden by the beard he could see the Terran's mouth, which was missing some teeth. The Terran was wearing what the AI identified as a cotton overalls and a reet hat on his head. Well, gosh darn it, the darn gators have gone to space to get the rest of old Cletus. First ye got my damn leg. As Cletus said as he lifted his left leg, which ended just below the knee. And now ye're a here fetha rest. Once ye had a taste of old Cletus, ye can't stop. A loud pitched cackle came from the Terran. Arlgurm was confused at best, as he never had anyone react like this, but before he could say anything, Cletus kept on talking. Hot diggity damn. You're a big un, ain't ya? Ma scanners say, yeah, bigger than old Daisy. Hell, Pop struck before he crashed it. While Cletus was talking that he was pushing all kinds of buttons, pulling levers, and among one must have been a scanner. Otherwise, the Terran couldn't have known how big Arlgurm was. Normally, knowing the size of his kind, the Hijacked, would be enough to scare anyone into submission. But this Terran wasn't even faced by it. No. He seemed to be excited because of it. Ma, oi ma! Can you hear me? Found me something good. Not long after, another broadcast popped up with a very elderly Terran woman wearing what looked like a flower pattern dress and a hairstyle that looked like some nest from some vermin. What in the gosh darn damnation, Cletus? You're gonna wake your olpa from his nap. Now what you hooting and tooting about? The older Terran, Ma, lifted up some glasses and squinted at the screen. As a live and breathe, that's one gosh darn big gatter. I'm now hankering for some BBQ. You better bring him and his pals home. I can't, Ma. I'm out doing the moonshine run. And all I got's me old pea-shooters. Cletus rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. Ma shook her head in disappointment. Damnation, ye foolish boy. I told ya many times to always bring yer irons when ye're going for yer moonshine run. Fine, call Yerku's Billy Bob to lend yer a hand. I reckon he's in the neighborhood. Just use yer pea shooter to keep them busy till he arrives. Ma disappeared from the comm channel. Arlgurm wasn't even sure how she even was able to appear on his screen. Alarms were going ballistic all of a sudden, as the AI suddenly noticed some of the cargo containers opened up. Out of them came an unholy abomination of a railgun that seemed to be held together with duct tape and good wishes. For the first time in a long time, Arlgurm felt fear. Yer heard Ma, yer invited Fairthar BBQ and Yerthar main course. Cletus laughed in a loud cackle as he pressed buttons. Everything around the Bonegnashers started to light up as the railguns opened fire. End of recording. Bonegnasher aftermath recording was recovered from the remains of the Bonegnawers after the Galactic Council security forces received the distress signal, now used in training cadets when interacting with independent Terran civilian worlds. Start recording. Hurigi investigation on Terran world L0U1S1 Fiend N4. This is Agent Xurug from the Council Investigation Force. The agency started to hear rumors coming from a Terran civilian world about Hurigi Coalition citizens being on the planet. After the surprising purge of all the Hurigi Coalition worlds, which decreased their population by at least 90%, but which allowed the Galactic Council to liberate all the species that had been turned into livestock. Agent Karuk said as he walked over a muddy path towards some ramshackle homes made of wood. Bloody gosh darn it, one of them grey bastards, betcha that they're here to probe them cows. Agent Xurug never understood why Terran said that his kind would probe cows. The only answer he ever got is that they apparently look very closely to how Terran media thought aliens looked like. If he remembered correctly, they called us the Greys. Good evening. I am Agent Xurug from the Galactic Council, working for the Council Investigation Force. I'm here because there are reports of illegal Hurigi people being on this planet. Agent Xurug said as he flashed his badge. Hurigi? Never heard of them folks in my life. Have you heard of them, Jimmy Bob? Can't say I ever have Otis. Maybe Ma knows more. Let me call her Furya. Before Agent Xurug could reply, a loud and shrill scream came from Jimmy Bob. Malatada, some grey is here, Furya. An elderly female Terran walked in a brisk pace from the house, wearing a flowery dress and some glasses. You're the grey? What you want? Agent Xurug explained once more why he was here, and the elderly woman called Ma frowned. You're sure about this? Don't remember seeing any of them, Hurigi. Just us and them gators. Just at that moment, Agent Xurug saw a movement to his side and quickly turned towards the source. It's a Hurigi, who is up his lower body in swamp water, butt naked. Please, I beg you, I just want to go home. Agent Xurug never knew a Hurigi could look sad, and this one looked like he was devastated. Agent Xurug turned towards the Terrans, not looking amused at all. I thought you said there were no Hurigi on the planet. Then what do you call that? He asked firmly while pointing at the Hurigi. That? That's no Hurigi, that's a gator. The Terran elderly woman said as she crossed her arms, not impressed with his serious demeanor. Please, I just want to go home, the Hurigi said softly. Shoot your trap and make lovin' to sweet old Daisy. She wants a nice clutch of gator babies. In the distance, a loud rumbling sound could be heard that Agent Xurug's AI identified as horny alligator noises.